Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Smash JT. In this episode, I'm going to be reviewing Blossom Tales, the Sleeping King for the Nintendo Switch and PC Steam. Smash JT. First off, thanks so much to Castle Pixel Games for providing this copy for review. The game was a ton of fun, but that's not to say it's without its minor annoyances. One thing I loved about this game is the actual storyline and how it's told. It's told from the perspective of the grandfather talking to his two grandkids and explaining how the story unfolds. And right from the start, you can tell this game pays a huge homage to the Super Nintendo Zelda: Link to the Past. The grandfather even jokes starting a storyline of Zelda before correcting himself and saying it's actually a different story. The game never took itself too seriously. Blossom Tales: The Sleeping King is clearly an indie title. It only spans 4 major dungeons, and the game doesn't last much past 8 hours, but that's not to say it's not fun. A few of the things that I didn't like about the game were, it relied a little too heavily on A Link to the Past references. I kind of felt like I was playing an 8-bit version of Zelda: Link to the Past while playing this, and I felt like if I'm doing that, why wouldn't I just be playing A Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past instead of this? The controls were good, but not great. They were a little bit too slippery for my liking. As far as when you play The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, which I'm gonna reference heavily in this review, because this game borrows so much from that game. When you're controlling Link and he stops to swing his sword, he stops on a dime and then you can swing, and it's really precise controls. This game, it feels like you're kind of on ice a little bit. When you stop, you slide forward, and you get used to that, but it didn't mean that I liked it. And I feel like the game could have used a little bit more weapon balancing, because the sword is not nearly strong enough against end bosses, but the bombs are like super overpowered. So every time you're facing an end boss, you just throw bombs at them and you're able to defeat them. And I challenge anyone out there to defeat the Flame Mage without using bombs, because I was attacking this guy for like 10 minutes with a sword before dying, and I still couldn't kill him. I finally realized that maybe I should try something different, so I threw bombs at him, and I was able to defeat him and move on. As far as some of the things I absolutely loved about this game, the castle and dungeons were really well designed, and I enjoyed the puzzles tremendously. I liked the fact that if you completed a puzzle and then you died, you didn't have to complete the puzzle again. The game would save exactly what you did as far as puzzles go, so that you could just bypass that room on the next go. With all that being said, how do I feel about this game? Well, I'm a huge Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past fan. It's one of my favorite Super Nintendo games ever created, and this game does a really good job of recreating that environment in kind of an 8-bit graphic style. And while it does fall short on a number of areas when compared to Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, standing on its own, it's actually a pretty decent game. That's why my final score for this game is a 7 out of 10. Castle Pixel Games did a solid job on putting this game together, but for $14.99, I could only recommend purchasing it full price for people who are die-hard Link to the Past fans. And even then, a lot of you may feel like this game redoes way too much of that game for your liking. If money's not an issue for you and you like Zelda: Link to the Past, grab it right now. But for the rest of us, when it falls below $10 on sale, definitely grab it. It's worth every penny at that point. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.